Hello, welcome back to Happy Heart 1111. And today's topic is Catch the Cause, Kill the Nervousness. We all have faced the issue of nervousness or panic attacks or that feeling of anxiety at some point or other in our lives. And we always feel that why are we feeling this way and how we should handle this feeling or this situation where you are finding yourself out of control, because when you are nervous, when you are restless, you feel that everything in your life is collapsing and you can't do anything to fix it, and this feeling just makes you go crazy in your head, and your body also is going through a lot of trauma, and that whole feeling of not being able to find a solution for whatever reason you are experiencing that nervousness or restlessness. So, today's video is going to help you to tackle this issue, which all of us face at some point or other in our lives. And it will also give you an insight into what is exactly nervousness, what is the cause of nervousness, and what are the practical ways to overcome this issue, which seems inevitable in our materialistic lives, where we are always engaged in the pursuit of a better life, or something or the other is going on in our life which attracts this issue that is called nervousness or restlessness. So let's understand what is nervousness. So, as usual, I have prepared my notes so that I can be precise and I can share each and every aspect of today's topic. The topic is Catch the Cause, Kill the Nervousness. So, let's start with understanding what is exactly nervousness. So, nervousness destabilizes your natural state of mind. Now, we all understand and have experienced that when we are nervous or restless, we feel as if something is really traumatic going on in our body, or there is this feeling of being out of control where you just can't find yourself in a stable um, emotion. And that is because when you face nervousness, it is actually destabilizing your natural state of mind. Now, what is the natural state of mind? Natural state of mind of every human is peace, calmness, bliss, and joy. And this natural state is essential, or is needed by every human being, so that he or she can function properly in their day to day life, because in their day to day life they have to take responsibilities, they have to make important decisions, they have to take actions which also can be out of their comfort zone. And for these tasks or these set of activities, every human being needs to be calm, peaceful, blissful, because you don't get solutions, or you don't feel motivated, or you would not take actions if you feel restless or disturbed inside your head, or in your body you are feeling that sensation of panic attacks. So you cannot fulfill all these responsibilities, or you cannot act on various plans or various um decisions which you have taken if your mind is disturbed, or is anxious, or is not feeling calm and peaceful, because any action which is taken with a anxious mind, with a mind which is impulsive, would always end up into wasteful actions which you would either regret or you would be ashamed of. So, nervousness or restlessness is an attack of frequent negative emotions on the natural state of your mind. So, your natural state of mind is being calm, being joyful, being blissful, and on that natural state, nervousness poses an attack of negative emotions. So, what is exactly nervousness? It's an attack of negative emotions. Your body is designed to be in its natural state, which is experienced through positive and uplifting emotions such as peace and love. So, according to the map of consciousness, which is given by David Hawkins, where we can be at different levels of consciousness, where you can either feel guilt, shame, fear, or you can be on a higher level where you operate from compassion, from gratitude, from love. Now, each level is going to have a different effect in your day to day life. And therefore, it is important that we try to be on the higher level of consciousness, which is also known as the natural state of human being, because we are supposed to be on a higher level of consciousness if we want to function like a human being, not like an animal. Now, your body is designed to be in natural state, and you can experience that natural state if you have positive and uplifting emotions. But if you expose yourself to intense emotions repeatedly, like, it is normal and it is possible that once in a while you might come to a lower level of consciousness where you are angry, you feel afraid or scared, or you are feeling regretful or shameful for something. But if you are repeatedly feeling this lower consciousness emotions, then your mind and body are conditioned to respond to that negative stimulus by making you feel nervous or anxious. Because when you have developed that emotion so frequently, you are conditioning your mind and body that it should now respond by becoming nervous or anxious. So, becoming nervous or anxious or restless is actually a symptom that you have been posing yourself or exposing yourself to frequent negative emotions. Now, these intense emotions can be of grief, shame, anger, envy, regret, lust, or even excitement. Many people think that being excited is a good emotion or it's a uplifting emotion, but in reality, it's just as damaging as the emotion of anger or the emotion of fear, because whenever you are excited, you lose your natural state, which is peace or calm, and you might have experienced that whenever you take any decision or act when you are excited, it mostly turns out to be chaotic, messy, and you regret it later. For example, saying something out of excitement which makes you feel ashamed later on, and that statement which you said out of excitement might have cost you your relationship or a job or an interview. So, excitement is not a positive emotion, it's actually as destructive as other low emotions like anger, fear, and anxiety. So, as I said, your feeling of nervousness is a signal of danger that wants you to stay alert and meticulous. So, when you are nervous, your mind and body are in alert state. That is, it's asking you to be careful because something is not right around you or in whichever situation you are currently, and you feel unsafe, uncertain, frightened, and perplexed. So, these are the results which you experience once you feel nervous. Nervousness switches on the alarm of danger and urgency for taking actions, which mostly end up being messy and regretful later. Like I said, just like excitement, in nervousness, basically you are on a vigilant mode or an alert mode where you are feeling this emergency or this urge to take actions, which often end up being regretful because you are in a hurry to make a difference in that situation or to overcome that situation. But that decision or that action which is taken by you is coming or is rooted out of nervousness, and therefore that makes the situation worse. Now, how low quality emotions result in nervousness? I have explained that all the low quality emotions, if they are felt by you frequently, results in nervousness because nervousness is a response to that emotion of fear, anxiety, anger, shame, guilt, which your mind and body is creating because of certain situation in your life, certain event in your life. But how does it actually happens? How does low quality emotions result into nervousness? Now the first reason is negative environment. The negative environment in which you are conditioned to overthink and feel negative about yourself on a loop, such as being exposed to a group of people who are judgmental, narrow minded, abusive, bully, envious, lazy, or the ones who dwell in vices. Vices or bad habits such as substance abuse, that is consuming drugs, alcohol, or smoking, vices such as lust, greed, and violence. This way, you develop nervousness as your mind and body are conditioned to always be on alert mode or scared and anxious so as to protect yourself. So, if you are constantly being exposed to an environment where you have certain set of people who are creating a situation or who are giving you that stimuli where you feel nervousness or your mind and body has to keep you alert most of the time, and that environment could be your own family, your peer group, your office people, whosoever. But because there is a certain set of people around whom you have to dwell for a good amount of your day's time, you have been conditioned to feel nervous because nervousness is basically um the switching on of that alarm of staying alert, staying prepared to protect yourself or to take any emergency actions or quick decisions. So basically, you're always on your toes because you always feel danger, or you always have to fit in, or you always have to please other people, even though your personality doesn't match those people around whom you have to spend a good amount of your day's time. Second reason is pending tasks or delaying life. When you keep your day's activities on a hold and make excuses to avoid action repeatedly. You accumulate baggage of undone tasks that are necessary, but due to lack of interest and purpose, you avoid them. This baggage of unfinished tasks results in nervousness as the due date or deadline approaches. Now, these tasks or activities are unavoidable. They are part of your daily routine or they are part of your responsibility. And you are avoiding them because you are disinterested or you don't feel fulfilled or satisfied by doing these tasks. But you also know that these tasks or activities will not be completed by anybody else. You are the only person who has to complete these tasks, and therefore, when the deadline approaches or the due date is near, you start feeling nervous. You know very well that those tasks are important and ought to be done by you. Hence, later when the mountain of work scares the hell out of you, you are left feeling nervous and restless. Now, a perfect example for this is college assignments or school projects where the student has 2 months of vacation, maybe a summer vacation, and the student is just delaying that project assignment or homework because he or she feels unfulfilled or unmotivated, or that the project which he or she has to complete is uh, unnecessary for whatever reason. But the student also knows that he or she is responsible to complete it whether he or she likes it or not. And as the school or the college is about to reopen and the due date is approaching, the student starts feeling anxious or nervous or restless or like very irritated or frustrated because in the entire vacation, the student was just avoiding it, procrastinating it because he or she didn't like doing it. So, this is another reason for feeling nervous. Now, the low quality emotion over here is feeling unmotivated, feeling unworthy, feeling that fear of failure or fear of not achieving the perfect result, due to which you keep on delaying the task, and all these low emotions where you are unmotivated, you are feeling afraid of the results or how things would be, or the outcome is not as per your desire, whatever emotions that is holding you back from taking the action results in nervousness. The third reason is lack of clarity. You get stuck by a challenge or crisis in your life. To solve it, you research, seek advice from multiple people, analyze testimonies, find out multiple solutions, select some options to apply, but you still overthink and find it difficult to solve the problem. You are uncertain about the outcomes of the solutions and scared to fail. This keeps you confused, stressed, and stuck, which results in nervousness due to lack of action to resolve the issue. So, when you are stuck in this cycle of overthinking, overestimation about a challenge or problem in your life, and you have gathered so much of information and so many suggestions from different people, you are now perplexed, or you are not able to find the perfect solution to that issue or to that problem. And that is because you are operating from this low emotion of fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being unworthy, and fear of not achieving the desired outcome. So, again, the low emotion is resulting in nervousness because ultimately the situation has to be dealt, and as per the intensity of the situation in which you are supposed to take a important decision or a important action, you need to first get clarity. You need to first select one path or one process or procedure. But because you are operating from low emotions, where you are unable to take any step further, you end up feeling nervous because obviously that situation demands action from your side, but because of your low emotions, you are delaying it, and the situation is getting worse, and ultimately all you are left with is your feeling of nervousness, which further ruins the situation. Fourth is herd mentality. When you follow someone blindly and adopt each and every doctrine that they preach, you become a part of a herd or a cult. You lose control over yourself because now you are being controlled by the norms or the culture or the custom which is being preached to you, or which was glorified by the person whom you are blindly following. Your mind becomes a junkyard of irrelevant and illogical beliefs that runs on autopilot mode. You don't question, evaluate, experiment, learn, unlearn, improve, or grow. You're doing nothing, which is a part of evolution for every human being. So, in your life, you are going to face different situations, or you are going to lose people, or you are going to face loss of money, people, whatever. And the whole purpose of those not so good events or experiences in your life is to help you evolve, to help you understand how you should take decisions and actions as per the requirement of the situation. You cannot be lenient with people if they take you for granted, and at the same time, you cannot be exploitative towards people if they are weak or they cannot speak up for themselves. So you have to maintain a balance. But when you have started following someone, some celebrity, some influencer, some pseudo spiritual guru or religious guru, and initially you were able to resonate with the teachings of that person, and you found the teachings to be logical, rational, and complying to your principles. But gradually you find out that now you are following each and every thought or idea that is being propagated by that person without evaluating its ground reality or its effect in practical life. Until one day when your idol gets exposed and your world collapses, because you had reached a stage where you had started worshipping that person like a god, and you were following each and every advice and actions which was taken by your idol. And now that idol is exposed. Now that god whom you had created in your mind out of that person who is just like any other human being, like you and I, is now exposed, your whole foundation gets destabilized because your life was swirling around the teachings of that person, but that person has now been exposed as a fraud or a con man or whatever. His teachings and actions were never aligned, and it can also be that his actions are far from being human. You had built your entire world above the fake identity of your beloved idol or celebrity, and when their identity is exposed, you feel cheated, confused, and shattered from deep within. Now you feel guilt, shame, regret, and anger for your past choices and behavior. After revelations, you are afraid of taking decisions. You hesitate from communicating your thoughts and you delay your life because you are constantly under doubt that what if your decision turns out to be devastating not only for you but for your family or your friends. So you just hold yourself back because you have already faced a lot of backlash or a lot of failures or losses in your life because you were blindly following the teachings or actions of your so-called beloved idol. You get trapped in nervousness loop. You sabotage yourself because you are constantly questioning your decisions, your thoughts. You waste your energy in overthinking and in the end feel restless because your faith on your own self has been shaken up because your faith was based on the teachings of that pseudo teacher, guru, or mentor. And when the teacher or the mentor is exposed as a con man or as a person who is completely opposite to his virtual image or public image, you also feel like your whole identity, which was based on the identity of that person whom you were following blindly, gets shattered or gets under this spotlight where a criminal is constantly being scrutinized. So it's like your identity is a mirror of the identity of that person whom you were following, and now that person has been exposed as a evil person, a wicked person. So you yourself have been somehow been declared as wicked too, or someone who can't be trusted. So the low quality emotion over here is that you don't have confidence on yourself, on your decision making, in your own intuition, or in your own life experiences. Rather, you prefer to follow someone else for each and every um, action of your life. And when it turns out to be a scam, then you end up feeling more underconfident or diffident because now you just can't trust yourself because you trusted someone else for taking the decisions of your life, and based on that person's teachings you followed it so religiously, without questioning, without evaluating at your own personal level, that now you are left with no one to trust. Because from the beginning of the journey, you were never trusting yourself. You were trusting someone else, another human just like you, who is born with blood, flesh, and bones for the decisions of your life. So when that person is exposed as a wicked person, whom are you now going to trust? So, of course, in the end, you are left feeling nervous. Fifth is obsession. If you become obsessed about only one aspect of your life and neglect the other aspects of your life, then you keep on chasing that aspect and lose balance in life. You may be fixated on money or profession or love or health or overdo things to achieve that one aspect about which you are so obsessed. But you lose grip over other aspects of your life and realize the loss when the damage is immense, when the damage is huge. Now, even after achieving your greatest desire or your highest potential related to that aspect, for which you neglected the other important aspects of your life, you feel unhappy and unfulfilled. Why? Why is it so that you were obsessed about that one aspect and you gave your time, energy, resources for achieving the highest potential in that aspect? It can be your career, it can be your health, but you still feel empty from inside. You feel all your past years, your energy, your resources are wasted because you completely missed out on the other vital aspects of your life. So, being goal oriented is fine, but pursuing your goal with obsession will end up making you restless and regretful in the later stages of your life. Now, a perfect example for obsession is like people are obsessed with cracking an UPSC examination or getting into their desired college, maybe an IIT or an IIM or any Ivy League college in abroad. But even after achieving or getting into that profession or getting into that college, they find that this kind of life was never meant for them. They dread each moment of their life after achieving it, and the regret intensifies even more when they find out that they have missed out so much on other aspects of their life. Maybe they neglected their relationships, maybe they neglected their health, maybe they neglected their social responsibilities or other important aspects which are equally important to make life meaningful. So the low emotion over here was obsession, where you feel that your whole identity and its worthiness depends on the achievement of only one aspect, and you exhaust yourself, you just expose yourself to achieve that one aspect in its highest possible potential or highest possible level, whichever is there for achieving. And in the end, you find out that it's not worth it. It's not something which actually helps in increasing your social identity or your sense of feeling worthy or well achieved in life, because you have missed out so much on other aspects of your life. And at the same time, that one aspect for which you were obsessed and you had attached your whole identity or worthiness for so long, it's not even enjoyable and it doesn't even gives you that level of satisfaction. Sixth is lack of motivation. You know that certain tasks, decisions, or conversations are important, and those are ought to be done by you and within a stipulated time period, but you avoid those tasks because you feel unmotivated. Again, a low emotion where you feel that you are not good enough, you don't have the necessary skills, or you don't know how to take the action or how to start the process. You feel that those tasks are worthless or that you are not good enough to complete those tasks with perfection. You even over anticipate the outcomes of those activities that you are scared to take action due to fear of failure. Those tasks or activities or piece of work are ultimately your responsibility, but due to lack of confidence and lack of motivation, those remain unfinished, which later become a cause for your stress and restlessness. So, if you are just avoiding those activities, decisions, or conversations because you think you are not worthy of doing it and you keep on delaying it, again it is going to result into restlessness because that lack of motivation is not going to complete the task which is your responsibility. Seventh is habit of worrying. Life is a series of events. These events can be pleasant or unpleasant. Sometimes the situations are favorable for you, and the other times these might be unfavorable for you. And that's true for both poor and the rich, the privileged and the unprivileged. But the problem arises when you start worrying about each and every unfavorable event that might have occurred in your life. Your habit of getting disturbed and anxious during negative experiences of your life keeps you stressed and exhausted. Your natural state of peace is disturbed, and if you deviate from that natural state frequently due to uncertainties of life or due to ups and downs of life, you make life seem so difficult and are constantly swimming against the current that you have to prove something or you have to keep yourself guarded or you have to keep yourself prepared for the uncertainties, for the emergencies, because you just dislike being exposed to an unpleasant situation or event in your life. And that's why you just keep on worrying. You are always in that anxious, disturbed, and restless mode. And because of this, your mind can't take right decisions and keeps on failing, which further adds to your plight because you are so much into worrying, into over analyzing, into uh, finding out how your life can become even much worse. You stop taking the decisions which are necessary, and this way you further fail or plan to fail, and this adds to your plight. Your situation might be difficult, but because of your overthinking, because of your worrying, you are not taking the actions, and this is increasing your problematic situation or that unfavorable unpleasant situation. Your habit of worrying makes you a victim of nervousness, and this results in a low quality of life. So, the low emotion over here is that you have exposed yourself to this emotion of worry, of overthinking, of feeling scared, and that results into nervousness, which again gives you low results or outcomes in your life. Eighth is irresponsible behavior. If you intentionally keep yourself engaged in unimportant activities, in unimportant activities to avoid your responsibilities, it becomes a cause for nervousness because you are engaging in an activity which is not your immediate responsibility, which is not your priority, but you are engaging to avoid the important activities or responsibilities of your life, and you know that those responsibilities ought to be fulfilled by nobody else but you, which ends up in making you feeling restless because you have not fulfilled the responsibilities which was supposed to be your first priority. Many people are involved in religious activities, political activities, social service, or even wasteful activities such as wandering with friends purposelessly, so that they can avoid their responsibility. So they would indulge into certain activities which has nothing to do with their priority list, just to avoid the activities which is part of their priority list. And this is done to avoid the responsibilities which they are meant to fulfill. As a human, each one of us have certain responsibilities that can't be avoided, such as a father, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister, as an employee, as a child, as a spouse. Keeping yourself unnecessarily engaged or busy in other activities doesn't reduce or eliminate your worldly responsibilities of life. Eventually, it's you who will be accountable, who will be held accountable for the fulfillment of those responsibilities. And if you refuse or avoid them, it will become a reason for your restlessness in the later life, because you can't say that, oh, but I like indulging in religious activities. So, first, I will fulfill those religious customs or traditions, and the other family responsibilities or professional responsibilities can be delayed. And the real reason is that you were never responsible towards your family or towards your profession. You are not a religious person or a charity oriented person. You are doing it to avoid your responsibilities. And eventually, you are going to feel guilty or ashamed of avoiding those responsibilities, which would make you feel nervous in the later stages of your life. Ninth, or the last, is lack of basic amenities of life. A human being needs certain resources to live a dignified life. These resources are food, water, shelter, clothing, stable source of income, good health facilities, and community. The access and availability of these amenities or these resources of life provides a sense of safety and security to humans. Unless you feel safe and secure in your life, you can't stay in your natural state, which is being peaceful or being calm or being blissful or feeling fulfilled, because your basic requirements or bare minimum of subsistence are not being met. Lack or scarcity of basic necessities of life results in nervousness or restless mind. So the fear, the feeling of guilt or shame or not being good enough, not able to provide for yourself or for your family that basic requirement, which is going to help you and your family to live a dignified life, a modest life, will end up making you restless and nervous, where you're always haunted by these low emotions or negative emotions, where you find life always being unfair or being very difficult for you. And this makes you feel so disturbed that you might even end up taking wrong decisions in your life or end your life, which shouldn't be the case. So these were all the reasons where I have explained how low emotions results into nervousness or this problem of nervousness. Now let's come to this segment where we will discuss the ways to overcome nervousness or restlessness. We have understood and we have also identified what is your reason for feeling nervousness after discussing all the various situations or reasons or causes that might be resulting this state of nervousness in your life. Now, how can you overcome it? First and foremost, accept that you are facing this challenge of nervousness or suffering from nervousness. First, you need to acknowledge and accept, yes, you are facing this issue where you are frequently feeling the negative emotions, where you are frequently feeling disturbed and depressed or anxious and uh, feeling hopeless about life. Second, sit in silence and find out the reasons or the cause of restlessness. Now, you can just identify which one is your cause of nervousness after I have discussed all the various reasons that could be uh, the cause of nervousness. So you have to first sit in silence, alone, in solitude, and you have to introspect. You have to go within, go inwards, and see what is actually causing you to feel nervous. Third is change or fix the reason for your nervousness. How can you change that cause? How can you change that situation? You have to identify that and you have to apply that change so that you can come out of this feeling of restlessness or feeling disturbed. Fourth is, if you can't find the solution to fix your nervousness, then the best thing to do is surrender it to God and relax. Basically, you have to forget that whole situation or problem which is causing you nervousness for a certain short duration of time, because you don't know how to overcome it. You can't find a practical solution. So the best thing for you to do is just surrender it to God. Sometimes detachment from the problem gives you the solution rather than being attached to that problem or being trapped or being so much absorbed in that problem, because you cannot see the bigger picture. You cannot come into a state of mind which would help you to find out the solution. See, you need to understand this, that if God has created you, God has created this world, God has also created your problems or challenges which are meant for your growth and for your evolution or ascension. Then it is obvious and it is for sure that God has also created the solutions for those problems that has been planted in your life. So it's just that you cannot see it currently, but once you detach from it and you surrender it to God and you just uh, like shift your focus for the time being into some other important aspect of your life, you would definitely find the insight to overcome that situation or that challenge which is resulting into this habit of feeling nervousness. Next solution is take the help or guidance from a trustworthy expert. If you can get the help from a trustworthy person who has expertise in that area of life in which you are facing a challenge, then you should approach that person. You should take guidance or advice from that person so that you can get a different perspective towards your problem which you might be unable to see, and this can really help you get out of that situation and overcome your feeling of nervousness. Next is choose the company of wise, humble, and calm people who can help you to overcome the situation. Because many a times you would find that if you surround yourself with wise, humble, and calm people, you would immediately feel relaxed, healed, and you would feel hopeful about life, because the persona or the energy of people who are wise, who are intellectual, or who are in this healing energy, or energetic field would immediately uplift you, and that shift in your consciousness which you would feel by being in the company of these healers and these people who help you to come out that feeling of low emotions where you can't find the solutions to your problems, would help you to come to a state of mind, a neutral state of mind, or to a emotion where you can feel the courage to overcome that situation, or to come to a point where you can actually make an effort to resolve your situation rather than just sinking into that sea of sorrow, or that ocean of hopelessness, if you are being surrounded by people who are judgmental, negative, or who bully or gossip about people or about world in general. So avoid people who are judgmental, pessimistic, and fear mongers. You should avoid these people. So if you can't find an expert who can advise you to overcome the challenge which is causing you restlessness, you should select the company of people who can at least keep you in a state of mind where you can forget your challenge, or you can shift your energy and you can come to a state where you would feel motivated to take some remedial actions towards your challenge. Next is observe, regulate, and change your negative thoughts. Do not engage in negative self talk. It is a habit that has been implanted in all the human beings, that once we face a challenge, we face this issue of constant negative thoughts that goes on an autopilot mode in our mind, and it just makes us feel so, it's our upbringing and our conditioning has made us victims of negative self talk, where whenever we would face a challenge or an unpleasant situation in our life, we are conditioned to think negative and also talk negative about ourselves, and we question our worth. We find out all the ways in which situation can get worse and how we would never find a solution to the problem. So it's important that you don't engage in responding or reacting to your negative thoughts. Rather, you observe, regulate, and change those negative thoughts, and come to a neutral state of mind where you operate from courage, and gradually you climb the ladder of consciousness and start operating from a level where you are able to find the solution naturally. Next is engage in productive activities. Why? Because it changes your focus, it changes your emotions, it changes your energy. Change of energy, change of your emotions, change of your thoughts is very important for you to overcome the challenge in which you are stuck and which is causing you that problem of nervousness that you are facing. Because if you keep on overthinking, if you keep engaging yourself into negative self talk, if you surround yourself with people who are going to make your situation worse, your energy will never change and you will never be able to overcome this problem of nervousness, because you will never be able to find the solution which is causing you that nervousness or that feeling of nervousness. So engage yourself into productive activities. Next is sleep if you can, or listen to your favorite happy or uplifting music or song, or listen to a guided meditation or your favorite mood boosting podcast or entertainment show. So you need to shift your energy, or you need to engage yourself intentionally into those activities, whether it's taking a nap, whether it's listening to your favorite mood uplifting music, dancing, going for a walk, listening to something motivational. It's going to change your state of mind from low emotions to a neutral emotion, and then eventually to a higher level of consciousness where your emotions are of gratitude, love, compassion, of a problem solver, of a creator rather than of a victim. And last but not the least, always remind yourself that whatever happens, happens for your highest good, even if you can't see it now. This helps you to come out of the guilt, shame, or regret. This will increase your emotional frequency, and that's vital for overcoming this problem of nervousness, because you can only find the solution of the challenges which are resulting into restlessness or nervousness when you come to a emotional state where you can find the solutions, you can apply those solutions. And those emotions are of gratitude, those emotions are of courage, those emotions are of feeling confident about yourself, feeling safe and secure that some higher force is looking after you. And today, tomorrow, or after some days, whenever, you are definitely going to find a way out from that challenge which is making you feel nervous. So I hope you have got the point that you first need to identify what is the reason for your nervousness. Then you have to find out the solutions by following all the steps which I have discussed. And if you cannot find a practical solution immediately, the best thing is that you divert your mind, or you surrender your issue or challenge or situation to the higher self, to the God, to the universe, and develop this faith that if the problem has been given to you, the solution is already been created. It's just that you have to come into that state of mind or frequency to access it and to apply it. So, this was about today's topic, which is catch the cause, kill the nervousness.